everyone. So my name is Ekaterina Voronkova. I have the experience of setting up e-commerce for multi-billion retailers on Russian market, and I also work as a tech advisory, and mentor for different startups in different countries. And I was also working in Deloitte Digital UK. So today I'm going to talk about how to generate new ideas and to be creative. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, so we have only 20 minutes. Therefore, I will focus on how to make the grounds for generating new ideas. And I won't be having time to talk about how to test this idea. But anyway, so it will be an exciting session. I will share my experience of my colleagues, as well as some of the knowledge I got from the books and knowledge I got from other people. So it will be an exciting session I'm going to share with you. So this session aims at those who already founded their companies, they want to pivot, or those guys who actually wanted to found a successful company and to be a big name, or those who are working in companies, in a big already established companies, and they wanted to deliver new products, services. It's a bit complicated for these guys, just in terms of the environment is not very flourishing, like very done for performing something new, the constraints. But anyway, so I don't want to focus today on this, but as for how to actually to set yourself into this creativity world, to put yourself in a mindset of generating new ideas. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is about creativity muscle. Please guys, just send me some of the messages like, I know what it's all about, or I have heard about this creativity muscles kind of thing you might already bump into. So, and why I wanted to stress about the importance of training creativity muscle is that many very successful founders we know today, they failed a lot, really a lot in the past. So I'll give you some of the examples of these guys. And to be honest, it's not very easy. I mean, just to start with developing something new and then to be successful from the day one. It's something which builds like steadily. Maybe you get the experience, you talk to different people, you see how other people react on your ideas, and other investors, they give you some of the information how they would like you to proceed with your ideas, your products. So some of the examples of failures which actually eventually turned to successful stories, right? So we know the founder of Twitter, right? The Twitter is a platform we used or we heard of. It's very famous. But did you know that he developed a podcasting platform called Odeo early on before setting up Twitter? And it actually didn't work very well because Apple decided to introduce iTunes. So LinkedIn founder, he also set up something new before actually going on with the LinkedIn. So this was a platform, so social, it was a social network platform and a dating platform, which didn't go very well. Dyson, he did 5,126 prototypes actually before he created this famous vacuum cleaner we might have used, all of us used. Richard Branson, he did 400 companies. He set up 400 companies before actually got famous. I mean, and many of them succeeded. I mean, it's also kind of very common not to succeed from the day one, the very first ideas among very famous people, very talented people, right? So Instacart founder, he was desperate in creating some successful startup. So before actually he created Instacart, he did set up 20 startups. So he did like Groupon for foods. He did social network site for lawyers. It's like a different industry, which is very good, just because you get exposure to different industries, you understand the standards, you take the standards and bring the standards to another industry. It's so exciting. So kind of the experience which was I just wanted to get a bit of like to draw attention to these failures, to draw attention to these that this something that like the successful startups, successful products and services, they don't really start from the day one. It's not very common. Therefore, we really need to train our creativity muscles. This is why I actually started conversation from this thing. Even, for example, if we compare with tennis, right? So you build in this technique every day, like with every training, you build and try to play better. So then you do it like very freely. It's like natural for you. It's like as if it's you are breathing, right? For professional sportsmen. This is a way how we wanted to build the creativity, so the ideation mindset in our daily life, in order to have more possibility to succeed with our products and services. So now I'm going to talk about how to build these grounds, how to build this mindset in order to create new, very successful ideas, and also going to introduce some of the free tips from my side, which helped me a lot. So it's kind of a bonus for you guys. So the first thing, in order to be creative, in order to boost creativity, is to absorb as much information as possible. So you can read articles about different industries, even the industry you have never worked in. You can read books, you can join some of the conferences to understand the information. You can also go and talk to some people you've never talked to. You need to be open to this wide exposure with different information. So the only thing I would like to stress here, which is very important, is that while absorbing this information, it's very important to do it actively rather than passively. So by actively, I mean, so for example, you can go and read a book with your pencil, understanding some of the interesting, some of the interesting, I don't know, stories, whatever. So some of the information you're going to absorb, and this way you kind of given a note, given your direction to your mind that this information is very important. You need to observe it. You need to just to put it somewhere deep in your side in order to use it later. So this was the first thing to set the grounds for creativity. The second thing is very important, is to widen your views and eliminate limiting beliefs. So these guys I've talked about, these famous founders, famous companies, if they were like with very limiting and beliefs like that, well, this didn't work, it will never work, I'm not that talented, it would never happen, we will have these companies like very famous. So it's very important to be surrounded and try to be surrounded with people who believe in you. So in my case, my family is very supportive. So whenever I fail, whenever I don't have, well, in very successful things happening in my life, my family is always here to support me. It could be your friends, it could be some of them. You can find a mentor actually to stimulate you, to push you through, not to stop, just to generate as many as possible ideas and to go forward. So this is very important, because without belief, there is no action. If you really believe you can achieve something better, something bigger, you do action. So this is the most important thing. The third thing is psychology. So I decided to introduce this kind of tip you guys, just because psychology is also very important, the way we think, the way we see the things in our life. So when therapists start working with their clients, first they wanted to understand what kind of world these guys are looking at, what is inside their world, what the things are happening, what the assumptions, what are the beliefs, what are things they don't really believe is going to happen in their life. So most of the people, they have this world like in borders, so they have some things happening inside, but they never look outside. So the aim of the therapist is just to show you that actually there are so many exciting opportunities, things and capabilities happening outside of the world. I'm not like stressing that you need to find a therapist, but it could be also a good thing just for you to widen your widen your mindset in order to be more creative, boosting more ideas. So the fourth thing is to, once we set up this, once we gather it, accumulated this information, which should be happening on a daily basis, then when your mind is working, it's very good when you're just starting to understand how some industries, they correlate to in other industries, you understand how you can bring standards from one industry to another. So it kind of like looking deeper into the topic, but this is when your mind is working. But you might have already heard that some of the greatest ideas, some of the biggest breakthroughs and insights, they came when people were driving the car, the people were taking a shower, having a walk. For example, the famous periodic table by Mendeleev, he actually decided how to actually formulate everything, how to make it happen when he was dreaming. So how does this work? So when we accumulate all the information, this is how where we have a ground to ideate, to create something new. But in order to create, really to have these great insights, we need to ourselves to get bored. So meaning that, for example, you can have a walk in the park, which helped me really a lot. So you just observe the nature, you try not to think about anything else. Of course, there will be some of the thoughts coming back and forth, and you will be thinking, oh, why I'm just not concentrating on nature. I'm just walking and breathing and just doing nothing. It's very common. It's okay. But in this state, this is the best state when your unconscious start to work. So we use our intuition. Intuition is a product of unconscious, and unconscious help us to just to not to only to observe and to kind of express our ideas, on not only observe the information, but also just like to bind this information, to tie the information, to produce something new. So this unconscious part is also very important. So get to the park, go to have a drive somewhere in a direction where you don't really need to think about it, to turn left or right. Just go to the shower, something which really gets you bored, something where you don't browse your social network, your Instagram, nothing like that. So something where you can like let your unconscious work. So the fifth thing is neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity means that when we go to office, when we go to our cafe, which we like the most, it's the path we really take every day. But in order to widen your mindset, widen your approach, it's better to take some of the other directions. I mean, to go to your office, a different road, to visit different people, to visit and to try new food, different cafes. All of it helps a lot just to see the things differently. When you're stuck with something, for example, you're developing your project, your startup or this, you're stuck with something. You don't really know how to proceed. Unconscious can help you a lot when you like. It can just like it can arise from you. I mean, you can't really express it, but it's something which really helps you to some of the day like think about, oh, this is really inside. But it's also very, very cool decision in order to postpone something. For example, you're stuck with developing a product. It's better to focus on something else, developing some other things, for example. So this kind of slow multitasking helps a lot when you're stuck on a project, because you don't really stop thinking, you let your unconscious work, you still observe the information from different sources, but at the end of the day, you kind of let yourself be focused on something else and be productive as well. The seventh thing is to set goals for generating new ideas. So generation ideas could be also made in your life in the way that you actually set the goal. So for example, 5 ideas a day. So this something is for people who are very determined, very kind of enthusiastic into achieving their aims, into creating as many ideas as possible. So this also could be a very good tip in order to set yourself in the grounds of creativity. And the 8th one is test the ideas. So I didn't want to say anything about very deeply around testing the ideas because of the time constraints, but testing the ideas could also help you a lot in order to get new insights and to see things differently. For example, when you test your product with different people, some people will tell you such things you have never heard of. And maybe these things could draw your attention to something which could potentially be a next product or service. So this is a really powerful tool. Just don't be stopped by like, oh, this idea, I'm not that talented, I don't want to proceed, somebody will do it better, or somebody has already been doing this. This is not the right mindset. You need to find yourself in a position of this enthusiastic mindset, surround yourself with enthusiastic people who can push you, and test the ideas, because something else could arise out of that. So these are the grounds for you guys to set yourself in a creative, in this ideation mood in your daily life, because the more ideas you create, the better, the more efficient you become, the more actually you have chances to succeed with a great startup, the next big name. So, and I also have some free tips from my personal experience, which I would like to share with you guys. So these things really help in order to create something, some just to boost your creativity. So the first tip is to read about startups. So we all know TechCrunch resources, TechCrunch website. So go there, try to read about different startups. Before actually, when you start reading about different startups, for example, they got some investments in Series A, try to think what this startup is about. So try to yourself to be creative when reading these first lines of article about the startup. Try to imagine what it could be about. And this could be also considered as active reading, active learning, because you actually pay attention to what's happening inside, what's actually the article is about. So it gives you a lot of information, a lot of new things, exposure to different industries, different things happening, to trends, and it also let yourself train your creativity on the spot. The second tip is always question assumptions. So for example, there is not a single right answer. Think of alternatives. So we all think that some of the things are like they are done this way just because it's right. It's not always the case. So I can't really give you like very like maybe a bright, bold example, but we see, for example, if we go in the street, we see a traffic light. It's green, amber, red color. Have you ever thought about why it's this in this particular order, or why these lights are round? So all these kind of things actually can boost your imagination and creativity. So this is really, really powerful. And so the third tip, which I also would like to stress your attention, is that it's also very powerful to pay attention to the things that make you angry or the things you are lazy to do. Lots of different services, products, startups, innovations are made because people are so much lazy. They really don't want to go to buy another milk if they have forgotten to buy it in a grocery before that. So these kind of things, they're really good grounds for new startups, new products, new services. So think about that. Just put yourself in a position where you know all these little things every day. This helps really a lot in order to be very mindful of what's happening. Be very mindful of your what's inside of you, which really makes you angry, which really bored you, or which really makes you lazy to do. So these are the things which set yourself in a position where you are thinking about environment as a place of opportunities, as a place of capabilities. So there are no rules. Actually, you can widen your approach. You can see things differently or do things differently. Lots of startups and products that have been created because previous ones were actually not so think. Previous founders, they were not thinking this wide. We're not thinking the next step. So these are kind of all the tips I wanted, all the suggestions, all the steps you need to take in order to boost your creativity, to train your creativity muscle, to in order to have more chances to create something very powerful, something very successful, if we're talking about services, products, in startups, in already established companies, whenever you wanted to pivot with your product and services, these things really help you to get inside this creativity mindset and create something new, which we will for sure heard of. So thank you very much for having me in this session. I'm really happy to be a part of the global conference, and please feel free to join me and to send me a message. Tell me how it's going on. Tell me how you like the session. Go to LinkedIn, find me, Ekaterina Voronkova. I'm happy to get in touch. I'm happy to talk to you guys. Thank you very much. It was really lovely. Thank you.